Hi. All right, let's try that again. Good morning. Welcome to you. My name is Michael, and I'm here from Happy English. And let me turn off the sound on the phone. There we go. All right. Hello, Julia on Periscope. Nice to see you today. Hello, Tahani. And Majid, thank you. Hello. Thank you for letting me know that the sound was off. Yes, we have to turn that button on, otherwise there is no sound. It is Saturday morning, and it's time for all of you early birds to learn English. That's right. By the way, an early bird, I said that before without the sound. An early bird is a person who usually and likes to get up early because it's 6:30 in the morning here in New York. Actually, I'm not really an early bird. Hello, welcome to Cuter 3 on Periscope. It's your first day. Wow, it is not my first day. This is live lesson number 69. That's right. A couple of more quick hellos. Sabi Panesar joined us here on Periscope too. Hello, welcome. You know, if you're on Periscope and if you tap the screen like that, little hearts fly up, and that's kind of cool. Hello, Mesquita on YouTube, and Athra Talib. Hello. Hello, hello. That's right. Thanks for joining me today. Today we have something very special. For today's English lesson, we are going to look at 10 common English mistakes. That's right. 10 common English mistakes that a lot of English learners mix up or get confused about, and we're going to look at those today, so I hope you find that useful. So let's get to today's lesson. I'll come back in a bit and say more hellos to people who join as they join. Oh, I almost forgot. You could always go to myhappyenglish.com. That's my website. We have over 1,000 English lessons there, and if you sign up for the mailing list, you can get on the mailing list, and I will send you English lessons for free. That's right, in your email box. And I don't send junk mail. I just send English lessons. So that should be cool. Please check that out. Is it your, etc.? Your. How do you mean? Cuter 3. All right. Here are the 10 common English mistakes, and that's what I want to talk about today. So let's get to it. I often hear this: Simon has 22 years. In other words, when we talk about somebody's age, in English, we don't use have to talk about that. In English, we just say Simon is 22 years old. I know that in a lot of languages like French or Italian and Spanish, it translates to Simon has 22 years. But if you want to speak about somebody's age in English, you need the be verb, basically, and you need to say that Simon is 22 years old. Or you can just say Simon is 22. And if you say a person is and then a number, then everyone can understand from the situation you're talking about their age. Okay? You could say, for example, Michael is 31. Because I'm sure someplace in the world there is a Michael who is 31. That's right. And by the way, in some cultures, it's okay to ask people, hey, how old are you? But in American culture, the only time we say, oh, how old are you, is when we're talking to a small child, usually under 7 or 8 years old, okay? So be careful of that cultural point. All right, the next one is, I always hear this: oh, I waited the train, or I waited my friend to come at the cafe. Wait needs a preposition for, the preposition for, when you're talking about what or who you waited for. I waited for the train. That's important. You can't say I waited the train. I waited for the train. If you talk about time, the preposition is optional. I waited 20 minutes, but the train never came. Or I waited for 20 minutes. So both are possible, but if you're talking about the thing, in other words, the object that you're waiting for, then you need to use for. I waited for you for 10 minutes, Ali Amalu and Faji and Sezai Yaji, Attila. I waited for you guys. Wait for. Thanks for joining me today. Nice to see you here. So wait for always needs for, okay? That's a very common English learner mistake. And speaking of prepositions, I often hear this. Yesterday I went to shopping. No. Here's why. You can go to a place. I went to the shopping mall. I went to the cafe. I went to the beach. I went to the park. I went to the train station. But shopping is not a place. Shopping is an activity. That's right. So you can go to a place, or in English we have some phrases that use go plus an ing when that ing is an activity. So you can go shopping. You can go swimming, you can go skiing, you can go surfing, you can go snowboarding, you can go jogging, but you can't go to jogging, and you can't go to shopping, all right? And the last one about to is go home. After work last night, I was tired. I went home. You can't say I went to home because home is a special word in English, and it's used like an adverb. That's the hint. So I went quickly. I went slowly. I went home. That's the trick there. All right. Let's rock on more. And what's the next one? Oh, make and do. All right, let's talk about make and do. In English, when you make something, you build it. Make has the idea of creating something. This morning, I made coffee, so I'm having a cup of joe. That's a good cup of joe. You make coffee. You make breakfast. You can make tea. You can make Make dinner. You can make a garden. All right. So when you make something, you build something. But when there's a process or a procedure, we use do. So homework is one of those procedures. So you can, instead of saying I have to make my homework, you should say I have to do my homework. So in English, we do homework, we do work, we do laundry. That means wash, dry, put away the clothes. All right. So do homework and not make homework. That's a very common mistake. I think because in some languages, I know that in Italian, I believe in Italian that the verb, they have one verb, which in English we have two, which is make and do. So for a lot of Italian learners of English, that's a confusing point. How about in your language? Do you have one word that translates to make and do in English? Why don't you leave a comment and let us know? That's my typing gesture, by the way. Hope you like that. If you are just joining us on Periscope or on YouTube, hey, thank you so much for waking up so early today to do that. My name is Michael, and I'm from Happy English, and we are learning we're looking at the top common English mistakes. All right, call. I called to my sister. No, I called my sister. Call does not need a preposition. So I talk to my sister. I write to my sister, but I call my sister. I don't know why we don't need a preposition there, and I know that in English, prepositions are tough. I know that. And my best advice for prepositions and dealing with prepositions is just memorize the pattern. Okay, so I talked to my sister yesterday. Perfect. But I called to my sister. It doesn't work. Why? I don't know. English, as I said, is a very illogical language. So you just have to memorize the pattern. And that's the best way to do that. And speaking of memorize the pattern, here's a tip for practicing and learning English. A lot of people say, oh, Michael, it's really hard to remember vocabulary. Oh, or how can I remember, grammar? Well, the secret is, and I know that there are lots of other English teachers out there online saying, oh, here are the top secrets. All right, here's the real secret, okay? This is not something fake. How did you learn your natural language? By listening as a baby and then repeating what mommy and daddy and your people around you said. And so you learned by memorizing phrases. And so here's an example. Yesterday I called my sister. Who did you call yesterday? Think about that. Or who did you call last week? I know these days we don't call, we text. T-E-X-T, we text. I texted my sister. It's the same thing. We don't use to after text. Why? That's the pattern. So just memorize that sentence, If you call your mother every day, oh, good boy, then you can say, hey, I call my mother every day. I need to call my mother. Oh, look at the time. I have to call my mother. And so you memorize that pattern by using it in a sentence that's related to you. That's the best way, I think, to remember grammar and vocabulary, okay? All right, so that's that. Let me jump on and say hello to Fabrizio joining us here. Better late than never. Thank you so much for coming to join this live lesson. And thank you to everybody on Periscope who's tapping the screen. When you tap the screen like that in Periscope on your mobile device, little hearts fly up. That's kind of cool. All right, let's look at the next 5, okay? I took a coffee. I hear this all the time. Hello, Steve 2x1 on Periscope. Thank you. I took a coffee. Okay, I know that in a lot of languages, people, the language in your language, you might say I took a cup of coffee, which means to drink. But in English, I took a coffee makes me feel like you stole somebody's coffee. Okay? Because you can either say I had a coffee or I drank a coffee or I bought a coffee, something like that. But don't use take, because in English, take doesn't mean eat or drink. That's the key point that a lot of people get confused about. I'm having a coffee. And you might wonder, and you might ask me, hey, Michael, why did you say a coffee? Because coffee is not countable. Wow, very observant. That's right. Coffee is not countable. But in English, and especially in American English, sorry, I don't know what they do over there in England, in British English. But in American English, we can talk about drinks like they are countable. So if you're in a restaurant in New York City and you want to have coffee, you could say to the waiter, hey, can I have can we have 2 coffees? It's possible, okay? And notice I said, can we have 2 coffees? Not can we take 2 coffees, okay? That's an important point. Let me just jump over here quick. Essa said, if I try to memorize sentence and phrases, I will not be able to make a good sentence. How is that? You got to practice. That's all. Find a good model. You know where you can find a good model to make a good sentence? Is the Longman Online Dictionary. Long, L-O-N-G-M-A-N, one word, Longman Online Dictionary has great example sentences. And you can look at one of their examples and you can make a model from that so you don't have to worry if you made an incorrect sentence, okay? Or ask your English teacher, or ask your friends who study English, or ask other people on social media. Everyone says, oh, I don't have anybody to talk to. I can't improve my English. There are about 25 people right now watching this live lesson. That means that there are 25 people at least at this time that want to study English. You can find a language partner easily doing that. All right. Similar to call is discuss. I always hear this. We discussed about our trip. Discuss does not need a preposition. Okay? I don't know why that is. You could say we talked about our trip, or I asked about our trip, but we discussed our trip. So discuss does not need a preposition. All right, the next one. I hear this a lot. I and Jack like pizza. That's grammatically correct. However, in English, we tend to put no. We usually put no. We always put I last. Jack and I like pizza. So even if there's 10 people, Jack and his mom and her friends and his boss and their uncle and I like pizza. So always put I last, especially when you're writing, okay? That makes a big difference in an essay. All right, what else? I woke up in the midnight. In the midnight. Should be I woke up at midnight, because midnight is exactly 12 o'clock, 00 o'clock. Or I woke up in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. In the middle of the night means somewhere between 12 midnight and, say, 3 or 4 a.m. That's in the middle of the night, okay? I think Simon was up playing PlayStation 4 until the middle of the night, okay? But you can't say in the midnight. We do say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, okay? In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or at night, but not in the midnight. Okay, and then the last one is suggest. I suggested him to go there. So, a lot of times we have this pattern. It's a verb, it's an object, and a to. I asked him to go there. I wanted him to go there. I told him to go there. But, and I covered this in another live lesson last month, I think, but suggest and recommend are different. After suggest and recommend, the pattern is suggest and recommend plus a subject and a base verb. I suggested he go there. Not he goes there, he go there. I suggested he go there. It's a subject and a base verb. I suggested you go there. I suggested she go there. He suggested I go there. We suggested they go there. It's always the same pattern after suggest and recommend. I recommend you go there. Okay? That's the pattern. So those are the top 10 English mistakes. And I hope that that was helpful for you guys to avoid some of them. Maybe you have some of those problems when you speak English too. And that brings us to the end of today's live English lesson for all of you early birds. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. It is Saturday. This is live. And if it is not Saturday, 6:53 a.m. New York time where you are right now, it means you're watching the video, not live. But this is live. I will be back on Monday at 9 a.m. with another live lesson. Tomorrow is Sunday. There will be no live class tomorrow. I can't do it tomorrow. Something has come up. So I will see you on Monday with a live lesson then. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you. It's Monday at 9 a.m. New York time. That's when we're going to do that. And don't forget, you can always go to myhappyenglish.com. You can get free lessons in your email box, not junk mail. And I'm not the kind of person, I don't sell people's emails. I know some people do that to make money. I don't. All I do with your email is I send you free English lessons. How cool is that? All right, so just do that. Go to myhappyenglish.com, click members, it's free. Sign up for the mailing list, and you can get free English lessons in your email box. And that's that. Thank you so much. Who else is here? Layla. Thank you from Italy. And Majit, thank you. And Pedla, thank you. Who else is here? Marilla, thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Thank you guys on Periscope for joining me today. My name is Michael from Happy English. I'm an early bird, and so are you. And I'll see you on Monday right here at Happy English. Bye, guys.